Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today on something that can be kind of mysterious, menopause.
Yeah.
We're looking at Dr. Mary Claire Haber's book,
Mm-hmm.
The New Menopause,
All right.
and it's all about, how can we
Yeah.
approach this time
Yeah.
in our lives with more confidence
Yes.
and knowledge.
Yes.
It's a guide to not just the physical changes,
Right.
but the emotional and psychological stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
I think so too.
really important
It is.
and something we don't always talk about.
It is really refreshing to see a book like this
Right.
that takes this positive approach. It's not something to be scared of.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like a new chapter. Right.
Exactly.
But before we get into all of that,
Yeah.
I think it's good to have a little science background.
Yeah.
What is actually going on in our bodies during this time?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people listening are familiar with estrogen and progesterone, the levels going down. But it's fascinating how that actually impacts. Yeah.
Everything, your metabolism, energy levels, how you sleep, mood, your bone health is like this cascade of changes all connected.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it also sounds a little scary.
Right.
So, what are some of the common symptoms that we might experience?
Yeah.
And more importantly, what can we do about them?
Well, the book gets right into that.
Okay.
You might be having hot flashes or gaining weight, insomnia, maybe feeling anxious.
Yeah.
These are all common, and
Yeah.
Dr. Haver really emphasizes that they are manageable too.
Okay, good. I'm ready to hear about managing them.
Well, lifestyle changes are a big thing for her,
Yes.
especially nutrition and exercise.
I feel like we hear that a lot.
Yeah.
But how does that apply specifically to menopause?
So with nutrition, those hot flashes you were talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of sugar and processed foods can make those worse.
Really?
Yeah. What Dr. Haver recommends is a lot more whole foods.
Mm-hmm.
Protein, healthy fats, complex carbs.
So think lean protein, avocados, nuts, and whole grains. And that will help balance your blood sugar, which will help with those hot flashes.
Oh, so it's not just what you're eating.
Right.
It's how that's affecting your hormones, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, what about exercise? How does that play into this?
I mean, exercise is good for a lot of things,
Right.
But especially during menopause, it can help manage weight gain, help you sleep, boost your mood,
Okay.
and it can even protect your bones.
Is right, because the
Yeah.
estrogen is affecting the bone density, right?
Exactly. So things like walking, dancing, strength training can really help maintain that bone density.
Wow. So exercise is like a multitasker during menopause.
It is.
Does she have certain types of exercise that she recommends?
She recommends some resistance training, some strength training, and then some lower impact things like
Right.
walking or yoga.
Gotcha.
So a good mix.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've talked about nutrition, exercise,
Yeah.
but it's not just the physical side of things, right? There's a
Yeah.
whole emotional side to this too.
Absolutely. Your hormones are fluctuating so much.
Right.
You might be irritable or anxious, have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
It's a lot to deal with.
So what can we do about that? What does she recommend for that kind of stuff?
Well, she suggests embracing self-care
Okay.
practices to help you feel better emotionally.
Okay.
So things like meditation, therapy, journaling, anything that helps process emotions, reduce stress,
Okay.
and helps you reconnect with yourself. She even suggests coming up with a little mantra
I like that.
to repeat to yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed. Something like, I am strong, I am resilient, I am embracing this change.
I love that. It's like a pep talk for yourself.
Exactly.
But what about those times where you need a little more help?
Yeah.
What if self-care isn't enough?
Yeah, she acknowledges that sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
And she suggests seeking support.
Mhm.
Maybe finding a therapist
Yeah.
or joining a support group where you can connect with people going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes just knowing you're not alone makes a big difference.
Totally. There's power in that shared experience.
Definitely.
For sure. Now, I have to ask about HRT, hormone replacement therapy,
Yeah,
because it comes up a lot.
it does.
And there's a lot of information and misinformation out there.
Yeah.
So what did she say about it?
She has a whole chapter about it, actually.
Oh.
And she really lays out the benefits and the risks
Okay.
and makes it very clear that it's not for everybody.
Mhm.
She encourages women to talk to their doctors and
Yeah.
figure out if it's right for them.
Okay. So it's all about that informed decision making.
Makes
right?
sense.
So
Exactly.
now I'm kind of curious to dig into more of the science
Yeah.
of how this is all working.
Mhm.
So next time, let's talk about how declining estrogen
Yeah.
and progesterone
Mm-hmm.
are actually affecting things like bone health,
Yeah.
metabolism, even brain function.
It's fascinating.
What do you think?
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, everybody, and we'll be right back.
See you soon.
So before the break, we were talking about how menopause is a lot more than just hot flashes and mood swings.
Right.
It's really like this whole hormonal shift that has effects all over the place.
It really does. And understanding that can help you make good choices
Yeah,
about your health during this time.
for sure. So let's start with bone health, because that's something that a lot of women worry about as they age.
Definitely.
How does menopause affect our bones?
Well, estrogen actually plays a huge role in keeping your bones strong.
Okay.
You can think of it like the scaffolding that holds everything together.
Okay.
But when estrogen goes down during menopause, that scaffolding gets weaker.
Gotcha.
And that's why your bones can get more fragile.
So it's not just age then.
Right.
It's also those hormones. Okay, so what can we do to, like, protect our bones during this time?
Well, Dr. Haber has a few suggestions. First, make sure you're getting enough calcium and vitamin D.
Yeah.
You can get calcium from dairy, leafy green vegetables, even some fortified foods.
Okay.
And vitamin D you can get from sunshine
Mm-hmm.
or from supplements or fortified foods too.
So sunshine and a good diet are key.
Definitely.
What else?
Remember how we were talking about exercise being a multitasker?
Yeah.
Well, it's good for your bones too.
Oh, okay.
Weight-bearing exercises like walking or jogging or dancing or even just climbing stairs.
Okay.
All of that can help stimulate bone growth.
So you're like giving your bones a workout.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And if you want to do even more, you can add some strength training.
Okay.
Lifting weights or using resistance bands builds muscle,
Yeah.
which helps support your bones.
Interesting. So it's like a combination of diet, sunshine, and exercise can really help keep those bones strong.
It can.
Okay. Now, let's talk about metabolism for a minute,
Okay.
because weight gain is a big concern during menopause. Is that just something that we have to accept, or are there things that we can do to manage it?
It's a common concern,
Yeah.
but it's not inevitable. What happens is, as estrogen goes down, your metabolism slows down,
Okay.
meaning you burn fewer calories.
Oh, so it's like your body's furnace is working less efficiently.
It's a good way to put it.
I see. So there's an actual physiological thing happening.
There is.
It's not just about willpower.
Right.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah. But there are definitely things you can do.
Okay.
Dr. Haver recommends, you probably guessed it, healthy lifestyle habits.
So the good diet and exercise that we were talking about before.
Exactly. And don't forget about sleep.
Oh,
When you
why?
don't sleep enough,
Yeah.
your body makes more cortisol, which is a stress hormone.
Right.
And that can lead to weight gain.
Really?
Yeah, especially around your belly.
Oh, wow. So getting enough sleep is good for our waistlines, too.
It is.
Okay. Now, before we move on, I want to talk about something that I think a lot of women can relate to. Brain fog.
Ah, yes.
Is there a connection between menopause and how our brains work?
There definitely is. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about estrogen having all those effects throughout your body?
Yeah.
Well, your brain actually has estrogen receptors.
Wow.
So when your estrogen goes down, it can affect how your brain works.
I see.
You might be forgetful, have trouble concentrating, or just feel like you're in a haze.
Oh.
Some women say it's like having pregnancy brain again.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So what can we do about this brain fog?
Dr. Haver suggests doing things that challenge your brain.
Okay.
Things that make you learn new things and make new connections.
Okay.
Like you could learn a new language or a musical instrument.
Right.
Or do puzzles or brain training games.
It's like cross-training for your brain.
Exactly.
I like that.
And managing stress is really important too.
Oh, right.
Stress can be hard on your brain, especially as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. Haver suggests things like yoga, meditation, spending time in nature, connecting with people you love.
Okay.
Anything that helps you relax and recharge.
That makes sense.
It does.
So we've talked about bone health, metabolism, even brain function.
We have.
It's amazing how much our physical and mental health are connected,
It really is.
especially during this time. Speaking of which, let's move on to Dr. Haver's recommendations for navigating all those emotional ups and downs of menopause.
Okay, let's do it.
So we've been talking about all the science-y stuff of menopause, how those hormone changes affect us physically. But now let's talk about the emotional side of things.
Yes, the emotional roller coaster.
Seriously. It's like my emotions are all over the place. I'm moody, I'm irritable, I get anxious more easily.
It's all totally normal.
Oh, good. Okay, so it's not just me.
Not at all.
Okay, but knowing that doesn't always make it easier, right?
Right.
Like, how do we actually deal with all these emotional ups and downs?
Well, Dr. Haver really focuses on self-care
Okay.
to help you navigate all those feelings.
So what kind of self-care are we talking about? Like, what should we be doing?
One thing she recommends is mindfulness.
Okay.
Like meditation or breathing exercises. Those can really help you feel more calm and grounded.
Yeah.
Especially when you're feeling overwhelmed.
It's like bringing you back to the present moment, right?
Exactly.
What else can we do to kind of take care of ourselves emotionally during this time?
She's a big fan of spending time in nature.
Oh, yeah.
Going for a walk or gardening
Yeah.
or just sitting under a tree. That can be really calming and help ground you.
There's something about being in nature.
Yeah.
It's like a reset button for your mind.
It is. And she also suggests finding ways to be creative as a way to express yourself. So that could be journaling, painting, dancing, playing music.
Anything like that.
Whatever you enjoy.
Right. That makes sense. And what about connecting with other people?
Yes. That's so important, especially if you're feeling isolated. Find your people. Spend time with friends and family.
Yeah.
Join a support group.
Yeah.
Maybe connect with people online who are going through the same thing.
That shared experience can be so powerful.
It really can. Just knowing you're not alone
makes a big difference.
Can make you feel so much better.
Yeah, totally. But what about those times when you're really struggling and self-care and even talking to friends isn't enough?
Yeah, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And Dr. Haver says it's really important to get professional help then.
Okay.
Talk to a therapist, a counselor.
Okay.
Someone who can give you the support you need.
It's okay to ask for help.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's so important.
You know, one thing that really stuck with me about this book is how Dr. Haver really wants us to reframe menopause. It's not just this physical thing.
Right.
It's a time for growth.
Absolutely.
It's a transformation.
It is. It's a chance to figure out who you are, what you want to do, find new passions. It's an exciting time.
It's like she's saying, this isn't the end of something.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of something amazing.
It really is.
I love that.
Yeah.
So this has been such a great discussion.
It has.
And we've talked about so much, the science, the symptoms, the emotional side, the strategies. But as we wrap things up, I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
Dr. Haver really wants us to see menopause as a time of potential, not decline.
Yeah.
So how are you going to embrace that potential?
Yeah, that's a great question.
How are you going to make menopause your own and make it something that's empowering and fulfilling for you?
That's what it's all about.
This has been The Deep Dive.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning into Chapter 2, where we break down the best books to fuel your growth and learning. If this book caught your interest, check out the links in the description to get the audiobook at no cost. Don't miss out and support our channel while you dive deeper into these life-changing reads. See you in the next episode.